People have been watching the Olympics for centuries, and they've also been critiquing the Olympians' clothes for just as long. But what if I told you that the original Olympics, dating as far back to 776 BCE, had the worst uniforms of all? Worse than this, and even this. That's because the original Olympics were performed completely in the nude. Athletes stripped off their clothes as a sign of discarding their status and leveling the playing field. They oiled up with olive oil and presented themselves bare-skinned as a tribute to Zeus, and also because they believed the human body was the ultimate form of art. In fact, the word gymnasium actually comes from the Greek word gymnos, which translates to naked. The Olympics used to look very different from what we see today. The Greeks practiced a sacred truce, a ceasefire where athletes could safely travel to Olympia to compete. The very first Olympics were actually a religious festival dedicated to the Greek god Zeus and only included one simple foot race called the Stadia. After this race, they would sacrifice many oxen to Zeus and hold a giant public banquet. The first Stadion wasn't even won by an athlete, it was actually won by a cook named Koroibos. Over the years, more events were added, such as the discus, the javelin, the long jump, horse racing, and the heavy events, or what we would recognize today as wrestling and boxing. However, the pankration we don't see now, because it was a brutal sport combining boxing, wrestling, and combat, with the only rules being no biting or eye gouging, and it ended only in submission, knockout, or occasionally death. Many people don't know that the Olympics actually wasn't continuously held from its start. The games ran for over 1,000 years, but in 393 AD, Roman Emperor Theodosius banned the Olympics, calling them a pagan ritual. For the next 1,500 years, the stadium sat silent, buried and forgotten by history. It wasn't until 1896 when French educator and historian Baron Pierre de Coubertin gathered enough international support to bring the Olympics back. Now, for over 130 years, we've seen incredible athletes come from all over the world to compete against one another and together. Today, we also see men and women competing on the world stage in full gender parity for the first time in history, whereas the ancient Olympics barred women completely from competing, and they had their own separate games dedicated to the goddess Hera. The Olympics have come very far since their inception in 776 BCE, and have transformed from a single race to over 40 different sports, whether they're wearing spandex or nothing at all. The Olympics remind us that even after 3,000 years, the human spirit still knows how to put aside the sword and pick up the torch. Thanks y'all so much for watching and following my channel. If you love someone, please tell them, and I hope you have a historical day.